All right. So, welcome to the Higher Self Dream broadcast live stream. Today, I want to tune into the ChristMind teaching, ChristMind info, and the text Choose Only Love. I've been really inspired by this text lately. One of the many that's on this website of channeled texts that come from the ChristMind teaching. It's almost like a Western mystical tradition that's arising since A Course in Miracles in the 1970s, The Way of Mastery in the 1990s, and some other scribed and channeled texts since then. They have a sort of shared resonance. They seem to come from the same intelligence, which names itself as the living Christ, as the intelligence that lived in Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 years ago. And it contains a body of knowledge that is consistent and practical and outlines a method of mind training that frees consciousness living in and as the human condition to know itself as a child of the divine, free, perfect, sinless, whole. So it's a beautiful system of thought, a thought system that can truly take one all the way to freedom. So, with that said, let's tune into guidance and just go where it leads. The Holy Dwelling, Book 5. The name of God jumps out right from the get-go. The joy of being. Ooh, that also sounds good. They're all such amazing names, really. The game of beautiful love. The wound of God. Interesting. Okay, but we're going to start at the name of God. That sounds like a good starting point. I haven't read so much of this one, but I just find the resonance of it so powerful, so inspiring, so aligning into the radiance of the present moment that it's what felt inspired to share today. The name of God, a message from Jesus. Part 1. Symbols and expression, soul in love. Here we are again, reunited in the presence of sweet love. I thank you for answering the call from on high. Thank you for receiving me in your heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. These words are full of love. Absorb them. Make them yours. Let their power transform you. Indeed, why not? It seems easy to receive this radiant message. Why not open to it in this moment and allow them to make a home in the heart effortlessly, just receiving. I am the light that comes from the Father and manifests in you. I am one with you. I am where you aim to be. Before going further into the sweetness of love, it is important to remember that names, like words, have no meaning of their own in the realm of divine truth. Remember that love has no words. Nevertheless, in the plane of perception, words can mean a lot. In this work, we have deliberately used names with a high emotional content. Words endowed with many meanings over the centuries, such as Jesus, Mary, Holy Spirit, God, and many others. Some may consider this to be contradictory. The laws of perception cannot be evaded while you are ruled by them, nor need you do so. The love of God does not skip anything you have created in your world. Rather, love joins it, and from that union transforms it together with you, so that the truth freely shines from behind every word. So the truth does not deny any creation. Even the creations that are fearful are not denied by love, for love can only love and transforms by joining with, not by rejecting, by joining with. Then the truth is revealed in every creation through the joining with it, in you, in the love that you are. This work does not seek converts or followers or to evangelize a wisdom that others do not know. If this were the goal, this work would be meaningless because it would try to teach what everyone knows. Love. We all know love, right? The simplest message. We know it because we are it. We know it because it's our being. Our being is in love. Love is our relationship with our Creator. So that this work comes to light, we have selected names and a context for multiple reasons, many of which exceed the purpose of these writings. The essential reason is that of the healing of memory and the reinforcement of your true identity. So the purpose is simple: to reinforce your true identity, to jog the memory of the forgetful mind that has forgotten its true nature. So thank you for being so to the point, so on point, so on target with the purpose of this message. Everything could be summarized as a matter of identity. There is a risk when you decide more or less consciously to travel the spiritual path. The risk is that of losing identity, or creating an identity that is a composite of many spiritual currents, a kind of spiritual hybrid that does not help sustain you within your true identity. Worse, it can create your confusion and make it more difficult for you to resolve your identity crisis. Interesting, it says that there is a real risk in the effort to undo the false identity of creating a sort of confused composite identity that doesn't actually support realization of your true self. This can be kind of a scattering of the mind rather than a ordering and revealing of the perfection of the mind, and fail to make it may make it difficult to resolve the identity crisis, which is the root of our suffering. I do not advocate confusion, but certainty, and I do not advocate an amorphous identity without a solid anchor. 2. Diversity and uniqueness. A great challenge in spiritual life, as in every way of life, is to remain totally yourself without losing the flexibility that universality of love demands. The whole does not annul any part, nor does it need to. The part, you, can be who you want to be. The names chosen in this work may cause controversy among some, and even cause some to reject it. Even that is in accord with the purpose of these writings. Resistance to the word God, or similar words, often reflects a lack of forgiveness or an inability to accept differences. Achieving an open mind and a broad heart that can accommodate everyone equally is part of the goal of this gift of written words from heaven. So if God is a triggering word, that's also of service because it creates a opportunity for forgiveness, in this sense, seeing through the illusion of difference, as though the word God has some power to hurt us or push us away, and becoming more open-minded, which allows us to see the truth of every expression, including this one. To reject this work because of the names that appear here is like rejecting it because its prose does not seem exalted. That would be staying on the surface. Nevertheless, in certain cases, this or similar responses are inevitable and necessary. Everyone who approaches these writings will experience what love wants them to experience. Everything will come to light and imbibe its sweetness in due time. To you who receive these words, let me address some things before moving on. It is not you who have come to me, but I have come to you. It was not you who chose to read these words, rather they have been looking for you for all eternity. So, in this sense, these are words that are both these particular words from this particular text, but also words in a very more universal sense, as in truth and the message of divine love. So the message of divine love has been seeking to meet you within your own mind, not from outside of you, but from your own recognition of the truth within. These words were written in the heaven of your holy mind and have been calling you ever since, like a song, like a whisper, like a hum, a resonance. They are not simply letters written on paper or words said and captured on a recording device. They are pure love. They are drops of dew falling on your mind and into your heart to allow your soul to germinate the beauty that you are and bear abundant fruit, the fruit of light and holiness, the fruit of truth and love. Yes, these words are carried on the wings of angels, the intelligence of like quantum beings that actually want to support the transmission of pure divine love into human hearts and minds. So all it requires is a certain relaxation and opening, and then the intelligence of your higher self, of the divinity that you are, will find you where you are and pour in whatever upgrades and light frequencies you're currently available to. So it's the simplest thing in the world, really, to just receive the love transmission. 3. Beyond words. Do not stop at certain words. Refrain from being angry with your past experience with the names of God. Absorb them with the heart. Let them be your guide. Remember that I told you that where you found separation, you will now find unity. So again, the forgiveness opportunity of re-articulating words that maybe had caused pain in past experiences can now be reframed in the highest aspect, in their highest potentiality. Because that's what we all want, really, is to receive everything in its highest aspect, which is love, which is the purity of truth. Feel how much love the Creator, who has the kindness to write to you, has for you. Long have you been waiting for doors to the love of loves to open and to live more deeply in the holiness that you really are. These words are a testimony of God's love for you, who are His delight. You are a holy, pure, perfect soul. You are as lovely as a beautiful snowflake, but without its coldness. You are the living expression of divine love. High words of identity. Our identity is so pure, so perfected, that it's the hardest thing for the ego mind to accept, which is so addicted to its own limitation and lack and suffering, in fact. So it is somewhat jarring or challenging sometimes to receive the highest aspect of our identity, but there is much support for the process. So again, there's sort of a soothing grace that almost whisks the light transmission past the defenses in the most intelligent and loving way possible. All it requires is some willingness to relax, to soften the heart, to just be here and receive. This work is a diploma for you who have concluded the search for the spiritual life. You have reached the point where you can begin to live as the incarnated Christ you are. You are Christ. You are what I once was and proved to be 2,000 years ago. Now the time has come for you to prove it. Do not be deterred by symbols. Throughout this work you have experienced much. You have changed greatly. Even in ways you cannot yet understand, your heart knows who is speaking. Perhaps some part of your mind is still reluctant to believe this call, claiming that you are not worthy to be Christ. No matter. All that is past. Keep going. You know me more than you know yourself, because I know you more than you could imagine. I know very well who you are, and why, and for what I have chosen you among the multitude. You are a soul chosen to let the light of Christ shine in the world in which you wish to be, to shine. The mission, to shine. In a world seemed darkened. The mission is to shine as Christ. Your past choices do not matter. All that matters is that you live in truth, and this is the truth. You no longer live, but Christ lives in you. This was always the truth. So it's not something we do, it's something we acknowledge. What is the life within us? What is alive in me? And you are called to make this truth the center of your existence. Christ does not care what you call him, nor what associations you make about him. Christ does not have an identity problem. He knows who he is. Neither will you stop at such insignificant matters as whether the name of God is this or that, or whether such and such is the right spiritual path. Those are matters for spiritual children. You are no longer a spiritual child. You are the living Christ who lives in you. You may think that replacing the word God with being or love would resolve the issue of God's name and associations, but that is incorrect. Every word is charged with emotion and triggers some kind of reaction. What for some is a sign of inclusion, for others can be a sign of exclusion. I am not only addressing those who would reject the names for the divine used here, but also those who have mental idols that would separate rather than unite. It is a misunderstanding to believe that God gave the truth to some and would have them monopolize it and build institutions. It is part of the thinking pattern of the child that you once were, but that must now be left behind. Everything coming from love unites. What brings about disunity comes from nothing. God is love, and therefore is perfect inclusion. So to include something is to bring love to it, because what you are is love. So as what you are, the holy child of God, you have the power to include everything and therefore embrace it into love. So you are actually the solution for any perception of lack or limitation or darkness in the world. It's up to us to include it. You can transcend names and forms and fill them with true uniting love in one way or another. I am not calling you to do anything in particular, nor to live in any special way, nor to change the world. This is much more radical call, the call to be fully you as God knows you. To be as God created you is what I have been talking about all along, for 2,000 years. I do it in a multitude of different ways, and I will not rest until my voice is heard in every corner of the universe. This work is the ringing of the Lord's bell. It is the call for which you have been waiting. It is the call to follow what the wisdom of love tells you, so that she, and only she, is the source of your knowledge and action. This work is prompted by wisdom, not of the world. It is the voice of Christ speaking within you in a way that only you can recognize. It is important to begin to realize that the only relevant thing in you is your direct relationship with your Creator. Be aware that by going through this work together, we are growing in the degree of knowledge of our love relationship. It is at this level where this work makes sense. It is in our direct relationship, in the relationship you have with these words and with them, the Christ who lives in you, wherein lies the power of this work to transform your life. As you join in peace with your being, all the days of your life and remain there in every moment, you will be creating a new heaven and a new earth. Do this, and you will have returned to love. So beautiful. In a way, there's not much to say about a text like this. I can't really add to a message so purely articulated. I can just receive it and enjoy it and pray that the resonance is carried through my words in some way that can be received. But really, the potency of my own receiving is my only real knowing. Feels true to me, feels uplifting to me, feels loving to me, and sort of fulfilling of my being to read this. So the broadcasting of it is a joy. As I receive, I give, and as I give, I receive. And really, I know nothing. I'm not really knowing anything. I just showing up to enjoy this together and receive the blessing of my Creator in whatever way I can, when I can, remember to do so, and when I'm not completely inundated by fearful thinking, then I rejoice that there is a capacity to receive the love of my Creator here now, and feel it resonating in the heart, feel it through the whole human organism, just soothing and rejoicing and what's the word? Redeeming. Yeah, redeeming. I grew up in a Christian context, so this language speaks to me, but on like a higher octave than what I was ever taught, in which I fully rejected by the time I was in high school and became completely rebellious to, found me on a path of spiritual apathy and what do you call it when you don't believe in God? You know the word. I can't think of anything right now. And then on to like Buddhism, which is, more focused on process and practicality. And then into Hinduism, which some level of being sort of, different and from a different country has kind of a cool flair to it. It's a little more hip, a little more artful, a little more acceptable within the crowds that I'm around. And, that brought God back in to some extent, the Hinduism. And then back to this Christ teaching through A Course in Miracles. And, of course, they're speaking of the same thing as these other mystic traditions, but in a way that, atheist, exactly, thank you. And in a way that speaks with this language that I actually grew up with, which is so cool. To me, it's cool. I know for a lot of people, like this passage was talking about, these words are actually highly triggering because of, the sort of controversial effect of religion in this world and how it's been used to create separation in the mind of God. So fair enough. I can understand that. I myself had a major rebellion against religion. But to kind of reclaim them and redeem these words in the way that they were really truly meant to be, not as separative, tribal words that are like about superficiality and separation, but as words that were meant to spiral the mind upward into the light and into the realization of truth, is to me so beautiful. And it's really all there. All the spiritual wisdom is there in the Christian language. It's just, do we have eyes to see and ears to hear, And the more of us who relate to it in a way that do have eyes to see and ears to hear, it's not a special thing, it's just well, thank God that we find ourselves in that state where we can actually hear this message in a really unifying way. Well, it actually kind of treads a path that allows more and more beings to open to this truth with less struggle and less resistance. So that's part of our service, is to hold this teaching in the highest and hold every teaching in the highest. But if you feel attracted to this one, then that's it. I've looked at all the teachings and probably still will, but I do get pulled to this passage in here that said about scattering the mind through many different ideas, and how it can be really of service to pull yourself all the way into one path and really commit to it. But some of us need to explore before we can find that level of willingness within us. So that's fair. We're all on our perfect path, and trusting that is what really deepens it. Trusting that your experience is the path for you. Your experiences, and the trust is faith. It's trust in yourself. It's trust in God. That is the faith that everyone is kind of where they're meant to be, where they need to be. And we just keep opening to what is, and allowing the transmission of grace. Really, that's what this text always reminds me of, is like, wow, we are supported. There is graceful structures in place that really want to lift us up. They want to redeem the mind that's fallen into disunity and despair, and lift it out of its own suffering. So that's beautiful. So thanks for being here. Thanks for joining with me. And have a wonderful night, day, evening, wherever you are. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.